No, I'll plug my ears. It's cool. I want you to like talk about what you
She's like
talk about.
issue 49.
Yeah, she's right about to hit 50.
Ooh, 50's a fun issue.
My favorite character in Invincible was Rexplode.
Okay.
Like #1 favorite.
Did you cry when he
When he fell down the stairs and broke his leg? Broke his leg.
That was so sad.
God damn it! We got so close. We didn't even start the podcast yet.
That's what I was saying.
So mad at you, Ryan.
Good. Good.
Hello and welcome to the Invincible podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan, and with me today is TJ.
Hello.
And Bill.
Hello.
And we have a very special episode today. We actually got a chance to sit down with Ryan Ottley at Fan Expo 2016 up in Toronto, and we had a blast talking to him. But before we get to the interview, we just wanted to talk about a couple things. One thing is that there will not be a new issue discussion this month, in the month of, what is it now? August?
September.
Jeez.
No September issue.
No September issue. It got pushed back to October 12th. Any thoughts on why that is? I mean, do you think it's just...
Or is it October? Yeah, October 12th.
It's October 12th.
I mean, we don't know, but... I mean, I think the only reasons are maybe they just needed more time. You know, did Cory Walker needed more time? Or for a while, I thought maybe Ryan might have needed more time.
It's still a
to
Cory
get
Walker
ahead.
issue, though.
Yeah.
He's very far ahead.
Did you see the image he tweeted out of all the pages?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said it was like a picture of him holding a stack of pages, and he's like, something along the lines of...
A whole bunch of art you guys haven't seen or something like that.
And it was like a handful.
So the next issue that's coming out is still Cory Walker,
yes,
right?
There's going to be two.
Two more.
Yep, 131 and 132.
So
Otley's coming back with 133, and now that's going to be presumably in December.
You stole my word.
I guess
I said presumably, and then you said it.
Maybe
yeah.
that's why I was thinking it.
I guess the positive way of thinking about it is that the longer it's delayed, the longer we're gonna have to look forward to new issues.
And that's the thing. People on Reddit were talking about it like, you know, oh, well, what the hell, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, hey, we get Invincible for another month longer. You know what I mean? So
I'm not even surprised. I wasn't even...
Yeah.
I wasn't even, like, I guess disappointed. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously I was mad, but I was like, kind of expected it, you know?
Yeah.
Especially towards the end. They could be doing rewrites. Mm-hmm. They could be doing anything, and they just want to stall it during Cory Walker's.
It could just be a stall.
He may want like to get the last 12 out on schedule. They don't want any like hiccups during during the last arc.
Otley also said something recently.
Yeah, to us.
No, on Twitter about what was it? It was something like, this is gonna be crazy, and like the emoticon, the face of just the eyes wide, like and hashtag Invincible, like
him.
He knows some shit. Like
he was reading a script. Yeah.
Yeah. So excited. We're really excited about everything that's coming up with all of that.
So regarding Fan Expo 2016 that we were at, that was my first experience.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Now, TJ and I had been to a couple before. What was it like for you going to one of these?
Well, we rushed to Ottley's booth right away. Mm-hmm. And
not only that, but the cons that me and Ryan have been to, this was the biggest one that we've went to, and this being your first, was
jumped in the deep end.
Yeah,
it was overwhelming. And the one thing that I kept thinking over and over again was how stupid I must have looked because I didn't have a bag or a backpack. Like I had nothing, and I looked really stupid. Like I should just grab something and hold on to it because everybody was like
walking around with
chuck full of like comics and fucking art and toys and stuff. But it was a really cool experience after we got done what we needed to get done with Ryan. Mm-hmm. So after they had the video game part, they had the comics. Like I just wanted to spend a whole day just looking through all those old comic books that they had.
And TJ, you spent what, 3 in the end, or did you end up going to 4?
Oh, I spent 3 days. Yeah, wow. We went the first day, and that's when we did the interview with Ryan Ottley, and we we drove back home. We live in Buffalo, Niagara Falls area, 2 hours away. The next morning I went back, drove home. Next morning I went back, drove home. It was cool. I went back and picked up our sketches from Ryan Ottley. It'll be on our Facebook by the time this airs, if you want to check them out. I got to meet Mark Hamill, which was very cool.
That's awesome.
He did the Joker voice, which was chilling. I got to finish my sketch card project with Ryan Ottley's art in the middle.
Did you post that picture? You did, because you actually
that's also on the
talked to Ottley about it on Twitter, actually.
Yeah, it's on. I don't think it's on our Twitter.
No, but Ottley did talk to you about it, so it should be pretty easy to find.
Yeah,
and I might have even, I don't know if the Invincible podcast Twitter retweeted or not, but then I'm also trying to do, like, I do the
it's also on the Facebook too.
Yeah, I do the sketch cards all from different artists of Invincible, and I've been trying to put those once a week on Twitter, so that's kind of cool. And you didn't you meet Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill?
Yeah, I got to meet Kevin Conroy. Yeah.
How was that? We didn't talk about that at all. We just talked about Hamill. No, he did the Batman voice for you, didn't he, or something like that?
Well, he is the Batman voice. He doesn't change his voice. It's just Batman, and he signed the. I gave him season 1 of animated series, and he signed it Batman.
Really?
And then put Kevin Conroy underneath it. It was pretty cool.
I don't know what I was watching or what I was listening to. It was definitely an interview with Kevin Conroy, and he was talking about how after 9/11 he had volunteered. I think it was 9/11. If someone listened to the interview, correct me if I'm wrong, but Ryan Ottley apparently does fact checks all the time on us, so he could correct us. But he was in like the soup kitchen or something like that, or some sort of like doing food. Like he was volunteering for firefighters, and someone was like, "Are you fucking Batman?" And he was like, "I am." And he's like, and then he like shouted through the thing, and no one believed that it was actually him.
Really?
That it was actually him. But
that's
cool. I just whenever I think about
he seems like such a nice guy too.
Yeah, he was nice. I met him and King Joffrey. Those are the three that I met.
I was just like really impressed with the amount of like amateur artists that there are that are really fucking good. Like there's a lot of people, like I got an original artwork from someone named Dara Gold or Dara Gold. It's Dara Gold.
Probably Dara.
Yeah, Dara or Dara.
Oh,
I don't know. I saw her like sign, and I didn't say her name because I was like, I don't know if it's Dara or Dara, but it's Dara Gold. And she's got a Facebook page. It's Dara Gold Fine Art and Illustration. But what she does is she draws, or she does the template first with tea, and she draws. She literally just fucking Facebook messaged me right now about my art.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she did. I'll read it. But I paid for an Iron Giant commission from her to do it, but she draws with tea. And then she does the detailing afterwards, because you can see like the templates that she does and it's awesome. So I was just like super impressed with the amount of talent that was like in one room. And that's the thing, like you need to spend like TJ 3 days.
Yeah, I think next
That's
year.
why I spent 3 days there. I was really focused on finishing my my sketch cards, and again, take a look at it online. There's so many awesome artists. There's a guy named he goes by Johnny D, but his full name is, if you want to look him up, is Johnny Desjardins. And he's a painter, and he does like acrylics and paints, and he's awesome. He did my Red Hood, he did my Scarecrow, he did an Invincible for Ryan, and
yeah, maybe I'll make that one next week's.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
He's awesome. He's one of my other favorites. Another one is Dylan Burnett. He's one of my favorite artists too.
Yeah, so we had a great time. Hopefully, we'll get to spend more than one day there next year. Get a hotel or something. That'd be great.
Go.
Yeah.
Go. Like if you guys have never gone before, me and Liz went. And it was a great experience.
Seek out local conventions. They're all over the place, and they're a blast. Yeah. So, but before we get into the Ottley interview, real quick, I want to go over one email that we got. Again, thanks for emailing us. You can reach us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. Bill, you got it, right? You're gonna.
Okay, yeah, I got one here from Andy. It says, "Hey guys, Andy here. I was so bummed out when I heard that they were canceling the series, especially with the storyline that they are currently in. But you guys were right in that at least he gave us a long lead time to accept it while they start putting out the big event arc. Do you guys think that he is completely done with the universe and would ever come back to it? I would love to see some one-off or maybe a 3-issue mini focused on a minor character the way they did with Brit. It doesn't even have to be set in the current time frame. They could easily flesh out some other characters of the Guardians, or even a prequel mini showing Mark's dad and his early days on Earth. Keep up the good work. Love, Andy.
He didn't put love.
He didn't put love this time.
I think that we talked a little bit about this on the last one, and I mean, I really think that Kirkman is done, and he's gonna let this go. He might do like a small story arc, like you said, like a three issue type of thing, but I doubt it. I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't
Doubt it.
I honestly don't think I want there to be continuation after the events of the end. I'd like for it to be buttoned up so much that we don't need that or want it. But I would love for there to be like stuff that happened during this time frame. Like we've talked about several times, what happened during those 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many stories to be told during those 5 years, and there's stuff like that all throughout the series. Like Immortal's first wife, or most recent wife before Kate. All the Guardians loved her. Black Samson told him that, so they knew her. So there's stories there. Alan fought Viltrumites before that time that we saw him get destroyed by Viltrumites. What's that story? Like, there's a lot of stories in the lore of Invincible that I'd love to see, and even if other artists or other writers tackled it, but those I don't think would ever depreciate Invincible itself. That's what I'd be afraid of. I'd be afraid of somebody else going in and doing something or changing something that would affect, Invincible and how we view it. But I don't think I'd want anything to come after the events.
I mean, he specifically asked if we think that he, as in I'm assuming Kirkman, would come back to it. And I think that he might. Based on our conversation with Ryan, and we'll get into that, I don't want to spoil or anything, but I think that he could.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that it's something that he wouldn't want to maybe eventually revisit.
Yeah.
He probably felt great bringing Britt back. You know what I mean? Like, and making him a part of it.
And he does like doing that stuff.
He really does. You know what I mean? So what happens, like, and I'm not even saying soon. I'm saying, like, maybe 5 years from now. He's like, you know what? It would be 6 years from now, after the last issue.
I think that's more likely to happen, because I think that time's going to go by and he's going to start to miss it.
Yeah. Right, yeah, I think so too. But, I mean, we don't know where Kirkman's going to be in any amount of time. Like, he might be, like we talked about, completely done with comics. But
yeah,
I think I would like to see, but I just want more Invincible. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so.
I agree. So we've kept you waiting long enough. We're going to get to the Ryan Ottley interview. Thanks again, Ryan. We had a blast. We had such a good time, after the show, waiting and hanging out. We kind of talk about it a little bit in the interview, but, Ryan and his cousin were super helpful, and they stuck with us. I don't know how it worked out, but we managed to find a somewhat quiet spot to record. The first part of the interview, there's a lot of, we were outside right next to a huge train yard, and trains were going by every 5 minutes. So
we were right by the CN Tower. So for anyone that wants a reference point, we could essentially see the CN Tower. And yeah, to Ryan's point, it was great. And I mean, he stuck with us up until midnight.
Yeah,
and he had a long day. Yeah.
So.
And give us a break on this too, because obviously it was pretty overwhelming. We didn't think that we'd be able to sit down with him that long and him be that cool about it. So we're obviously very excited. And we don't do interviews. We always talk about how new we are to this. So just bear with us.
Yeah. And remember, you've got our email address, theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, the works, and we do a lot of different types of shows here. I mean, we've got the New Reader series where we get people to read the Invincible from the beginning, and we're going to be actually recording later tonight. Me and Bo are going to be recording a podcast all about Brit. So stick around, and thanks for listening, and we're done. Enjoy the interview.
Here it is. Fly me to the moon and I wanna come back.
Hello and welcome to the Invincible Podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan, and with me today is Bill,
Hello.
and TJ.
Hello.
And Liz is actually sitting over there as well. How you doing, Liz?
Hi, I'm good.
So this is a very special episode because we're here at Fan Expo 2016
Canada.
in Toronto, Canada, and we're joined by none other than Ryan Ottley.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
So this isn't your first Fan Expo, is it?
I've been to one. Well, this is the first Fan Expo Canada. I went to Toronto Comic Con like
Oh, really?
what, 6 years ago, maybe.
Wow.
7 years.
So this is your first time in Toronto in 6 years?
Yes, it's been a while. Yes.
Wow. Didn't you say something about you having to get poutine soon? Did you
You know
not?
what? Brian and I just got some right before the con.
Did you? How was it?
I think it's delicious.
It's great.
What is
I like
poutine?
curds. I
You
like
know
gravy.
what poutine is.
It's just fries with gravy and then cheese curds on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
cheese
just-
curds?
Yeah,
it's
it's
delicious,
basically
dude.
it's fries with cheese curds and brown gravy, and it's like gooey and it's awesome.
Sounds nasty.
It's like Canadian nachos.
Oh, okay.
It's
That
good.
makes sense.
Canadian nachos.
Yeah, it's
good.
pretty much what it is. So we kind of split up the questions a little bit. I'm going to tackle a certain category. TJ's going to tackle a certain category, and then
Okay.
Bill. I'm going to go first. I have a lot of more Invincible related kind of things. The first one's a little more obvious, and I'm sure you get it a lot. But as a fan of Invincible, do you have a favorite character?
Let's see. You know what? All the dead ones
Right?
are my faves.
Liz, walk away.
Spoilers. Spoilers. Should I just name them?
Yeah, go
Yeah.
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, man.
First, what do you want to do?
they're
Like top
also-
3? Like,
I mean,
They're my favorite because of what they did and how long they lasted and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. But also because drawing them was very fun.
yeah.
You know,
Right.
I designed Conquest and Dinosaurus, and they're some of my favorites.
And
They shall be missed.
Rexplode.
He's okay.
What? Crazy.
No, Rexplode was great, man.
I loved
He was great.
Rexplode because he was an asshole, but he was a good guy. You know what I mean? He could be a dick, but he was a human being.
He was
That's what
super
I liked.
cool.
Yeah, and I
And he got cooler, right? He
Yeah.
Got, he got better.
Yeah, he did.
wasn't
Once
an
you
asshole.
learned his origin
Dude,
story,
Yeah.
All right, so when we were talking about this a little bit earlier, Ryan, when I know from the back of like the hardcovers that Cory Walker actually contributes a lot to costume design and the overall look of some characters.
Yes.
Is there a certain character that you're particularly proud of creating or designing in the entire run of Invincible? Like, is there something that like that costume was awesome, or the new
You know,
look of?
I was happy with the Walking Dread and Insomniac, but they never got used again. I mean, I think they brought him back in Invincible Universe.
Invincible
but I
Universe.
didn't get to draw him. It's like,
Yeah.
I wanted to do something with
Walking
him,
Dread
but
was funny.
He never brought him back, so.
Yeah,
But,
that's cool.
That stuff, and there was this one alien that I had a really fun time designing. I don't even think it had a name, but it was just like this crab thing that had all these weird pinchers and stuff.
Yes,
Remember that?
was he all purple?
Yeah, he was.
And it was in the
purplish.
snow.
Yes.
Yes, he was fighting Alan or Oliver, and
yeah.
Eve showed up to like help them
Exactly,
stop
yeah.
him. I forgot when that was. I think it was leading up to 100 or something. But anyways, and then kind of going back to a little bit more on topic of favorites. TJ loves, like we kind of talked about, the Angstrom fight. Going through all the different dimensions.
That's my favorite issue
I
is
love
1 through 3.
Yeah, I love Powerplex, that issue, because it was a villain's perspective issue, and it's kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a favorite issue? Like a single issue? Like, was there that one issue, like whether because you finished it and you put it down, you were like, that was awesome, like that whole thing, or by reading it, like was there a certain moment? Or do you
It's
view
very
them by
different.
issues like that?
It's different. Well, I'm working on it constantly, like every day, for the last
So it's
13
almost like-
years. So it's like it's hard to say.
Is it almost like
It's hard
somebody
to put down. It's hard to draw a month and then say that was awesome. That
Yeah.
was really fun.
Yeah.
It's just it happens so slowly that it's just. I get
Okay.
done, I'm like,
It looked like
Okay,
you
I'm
were.
done.
It
Now
looked
I
like
can-
you were having a
next one.
blast during Conquest.
Oh,
Because that
yeah.
was like
yeah,
your.
that was really fun.
That was
Yeah.
insane.
Well,
All that
the
art
story
was just
alone
nuts.
was, yeah. I mean, that when I was reading that script, I'm like, oh, who the hell is this guy? This
Yeah.
is gonna be
Yeah,
fun,
yeah.
But I did do designs beforehand of Conquest, trying to figure out his arm and all that stuff. But yeah, I thought Robert did an amazing job telling that story. I thought
Yeah.
it was just so fun and just some Viltrumite came and comes out of left field and just knocks the shit.
And just the fact that he
just
like
the toughest guy
he's
that's
crazy.
ever showed up.
He enjoys it. Like he's
Oh,
getting
yeah.
a kick out of it. He's
Love that.
laughing. Like so cool.
Oh yeah, you know what? I think that was one of my funnest things because when it gets to that, when it gets to the end of '64, when he spoilers.
Headbutts
Yeah.
the shit out of him.
No, maybe that's '63 then. '63
Eve?
when Conquest stabs Eve and then that last panel of Mark,
looking
he's
up at him, like,
what does he say to him? You remember what he says? Like, you're not going to live to see tomorrow, or
yes,
something like that.
I can see the future, and
I can see the future. Yeah.
and you're not going to live
like,
to see tomorrow. Oh,
So all that stuff, I have to really picture it and get into it,
Yeah.
and turn on some heavy metal or whatever I want, and just, I'm basically the actor. The artist is the actor, and they have to get those feelings on the page and out to you guys.
Yeah.
So I was really into that stuff.
And how is that, like, especially with these, final issues coming up? I was thinking about that, like, how do you get to enjoy Invincible? Like, do you enjoy it as, because you get to enjoy it unlike anybody else. We see it as a finished product, as, a visual thing. You're reading it as a script. Like, Invincible to you, your whole life has almost been more of a novel than a comic. You by reading it by words. Like,
That's
do
true.
you get stuck working while enjoying it, or do you get to enjoy each issue he sends to you like that?
I still enjoy it. I think, the artist's job is to make it really...
1 second, sorry, train.
Oh, yeah. So I was saying, I just think it's the artist's job to basically tell the story. Mm-hmm. And so, they're like the director, the cameraman, the actors, and everything. And so it's really... I forgot where we're going with that damn train.
It's all right. Do you find yourself being able to, like, read it like a book and enjoy it like a book, or do you, like, read a section and he says, this panel, this scene, and you're just working and not, like, really taking it in? Like, do you do a pass of the script and kind of, like,
read it
enjoy
all the way
it
first,
and
yes.
then kind of
see
work?
what's going on? Yeah,
Okay.
I read it all, and then the second time I go over it, it's all work. And
Okay.
So, the first pass, I am trying to picture things. Oh, this is going to be cool to see this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
It's probably different than the way. It's definitely different than the way most people probably read a book, because it's much slower, and I have to really get into it and think about every detail. So,
Yeah. And the last time you drew for us that we've seen was Reboot. That was actually the last thing we saw of your art.
Yeah, December.
I know. We
been a
actually,
while.
fun fact, we actually sat down to record the first episode of the podcast. And we're like, here we are. We're going to talk about this new issue. None of us had discussed it. We all sit down, press record, and it's like, shit. See you in April, because there was then there's that 4 or 5 month gap.
Yeah, right.
And
We actually waited.
and then we waited to release the podcast until like March.
Okay.
When we can actually get it ramped up.
Yeah.
Anyways, so a little bit about Reboot. How was it for you getting to like revisit those scenes? Some scenes which you didn't draw, Corey drew, or some scenes that you haven't drawn in over 10 years, like getting to kind of revisit it. And then also kind of, and I don't know whether at the time you knew, but like, was it nostalgic knowing that Invincible was ending, and then here you are drawing like the very beginning all over again? It's just I don't know, anything about that? Like,
it
was it fun to redraw those scenes?
That was one of my favorite things. Yeah, to tell you the truth, doing the Telescria scenes and all that stuff, it was getting a little old.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've told Kirkman
And
for
we
a
actually
while,
talked
I'm
to
like,
people about that, yeah.
yeah, and I'm basically drawing Star Wars on paper, right? And it's like it's a lot of work. It was very hard to get that and to draw all that within the deadline.
Yeah.
So it was tough, but so I was super excited to draw, because you know how they crossed out the superhero.
Yeah.
I was always like,
yeah.
it's
the best
superhero.
comic book of all time now.
It is a superhero book. Let's not make it all sci-fi.
Yeah. It definitely went sci-fi. Like we were talking recently, about bucket list items that we want to see before the end of Invincible, and actually one of the fans of the podcast wrote in and said, and we mentioned this before in a previous podcast. It's been what was it, like 15? 114 since the last time we saw Invincible in his costume. You know what I mean? Like we haven't seen him in his
wanted
costume.
him back in the costume.
And
yeah.
and
We actually
I
started that conversation based off of a tweet that you tweeted out.
mean, you missed
said,
drawing
Oh
it.
yeah, there
You
you go.
said, I missed drawing it, and we had a whole conversation based on that
Does
tweet.
that mean
like,
he's gonna be
does that
in
mean
it?
that he's
Or does he just
drawing
miss
it,
it?
and he's realizing how
No
much he missed
comment,
it?
no
Oh,
comment.
no,
there's
we
the
don't-
first one.
We
No,
don't.
but there is
We don't expect a
there is an a cover to 133 if people want to see it, or 34 or whatever.
Yeah, 133.
Yeah, there's a cover
Yeah,
to 133 if people want to more on that answer.
No, but the reboot was a breath of fresh air for me.
Right? Yeah.
Because it was a lot of fun to draw this.
'Cause not
superheroes
only
again.
was
and
it-
then that stuff, all that stuff, it's very nostalgic to me, because it's like I drew a lot of that.
Yes.
Issue 8, so it was like, yeah, it was just a blast. It was
Yeah.
it was a ton of fun to redraw all that stuff, to revisit it. But he's
But
got
shake it
a
up.
new brain,
Yeah.
and so he's much smarter now. But it's the same weak body, so
Yeah.
Right.
you got his
So
ass
cool.
kicked, but-
My favorite part of Reboot was the page that I actually
Bought
just
today.
got
You just
from
bought.
you today,
That's
which was
awesome,
Invincible trying to explain things to his dad up in the air, and then it was that moment, like, how is he going to react? And then his face just went dark, and his fist clenched, and that was the page I got, and I was like, fuck yeah. I got the shit out of that page.
And the shit out of it.
And then kind of the last thing, I know we can't get into too much about the end of all things and everything. We don't actually want to know. We don't want spoilers or anything like that.
Definitely not.
I got a script right here if you want to read it.
Oh my God! No. But as a fan, are you excited? Like, I mean, is it from, you know, is this?
I am excited. Yeah,
yeah.
There's not. I haven't read all the scripts yet, but he's told me some few plot points, and I'm gonna say that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
it's gonna be really cool. So.
We can't wait. It's so exciting.
It's gonna be so awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
So when did you guys know that what the story that you were telling was kind of leading to the end? You know what I mean? Did you guys know? Like, did you know during reboot that?
That's actually a question for Robert.
Okay.
But for me, how I knew I actually told Robert I wanted to draw something else. Mm-hmm. So I basically quit last year.
Yeah.
Basically, because I'm like, kind of like what I just said. It's connected to that. The whole Telestra thing, the non-superhero thing. Anymore.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 13 years.
You put everything into it too. I totally understand.
Yeah, and it's a grind. I mean, it's sometimes you gotta do 10 to 12 issues a year. When I was doing Haunt, that was even more ridiculous.
Because you're doing 2 a month,
But
right?
Haunt though,
Yeah,
Haunt was
15
so
issues
good.
in 15 in 1 year. So that was, you don't have much of a life doing monthly comics.
Yeah.
If you're doing 10 to 12 a year, you're probably not seeing your family too much. It's tough, especially if you're inking yourself. Then it's a lot. Now I'm not trying to complain or anything like that, but I'm just kind of like getting old, kind of done with the grind. I want to do something else.
So the jarring edit that may or may not have just occurred as we came inside, away from the train.
There's trains going by outside, and it was becoming too annoying. So now there might be a little ambient noise because we're in kind of a restaurant area, and there's background music. So we don't own any rights to any music that might be playing.
Oh, good,
Don't
nice.
sue us.
So Ryan Ottley, you were explaining to us how, you called up Robert Kirkman and kind of told him.
Do you want me to retell that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because of the train?
Yep.
So I called him up, and because there's the whole Telestria thing. It was just lots more to draw, lots more time consuming, and you still have to do it within the monthly schedule. I was just that mixed with I just want to do something else. There's other stuff I want to do out there before I die. So
Yeah. And like I said, we talked about that. We talked about how it is exciting for you to move on, just as much for us as everybody else. And the point I was making before we had to stop was that Robert, the letter he wrote was awesome. We agree with him that this is very much an Invincible thing to do. Would be to end right and to kind of go out this way instead of finding new artists and eventually new writers and kind of this is Invincible and it's going to end the way it kind of began in a way.
Yeah. But here's the thing, I had those feelings for a while, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I called him, he was like, man, we should talk more, because he kind of had this feeling of ending it at some point as well. So I'm like,
that's what he said. And he said,
he felt like it was starting to lead towards something rather than continuing
and the fact that you
it.
want to
he
move
had some
on to
great
other
points
things.
in that video.
Absolutely did.
It was great.
I agree with all of
Doesn't make it any less sad.
So regardless of what Robert had planned, you were still planning on stepping away to finish up maybe what you had, maybe 12, 15 more issues, and then if Robert still had story to do, you were like, dude, I'm out. What?
I wasn't sure if I wanted to stay, because just all the Telescreen stuff. I'm just like, I don't know, I'll do something else besides.
Yeah, dude, we've all. I worked for a
Here's
job for 10 years, and I was like, I'm out. I gotta do something else. And I feel like this would be the same thing. You know what I mean? We can't. And whatever you do, I felt excited that it was coming to an end, and obviously because I feel like you're just gonna kind of run out of ideas for the cliche reason, but because I felt like you were being creatively you did all that you could do for Invincible, you know what I mean? And I wanted to see what else you could do. So, and we'll get into that as well.
Not only that, but hearing you say that makes me feel a little better about it ending, because if Invincible is going to end, I would want it to end with Ryan Ottley going big
and
at the
Kirkman.
end.
And that's what he said in his, Kirkman said. He at first he imagined Invincible was going to go on forever, and then he'd end up hating it because a different writer and a different artist, and then he'd like it again and hate it. No, this is gonna be a great wrap up.
Right.
But it was cool because Corey jumped in and said he could do 6 issues, and I was like, that would be awesome.
Which again, we didn't know at the time, but looking back, it's great to have Corey on Invincible before the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was there in the beginning. He should be here, in some fashion, and he gets an entire arc. Like that's great.
Yeah, we love Corey Walker.
TJ,
did you see that Brit thing, man? That
What?
Brit, wait, was that issue's out, right? Issue 130?
130 is out.
Of him under the building and then shooting
that freaking sweet ass.
I have a question for you.
That was amazing.
I have a question for you, off topic. Well, not really. But does Britt have super strength? Or no?
No. That's why he has like
impenetrable
boosters
skin.
on his
Yes.
arms. So
Okay.
when he punches.
Oh, you're right.
It shoots.
Remember he put his son in one of the gloves?
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
We talked about how hard, like, can he punch somebody like extremely hard? And I was saying that he could only punch you as much as his muscles would allow. But we didn't even think about the boosters on his arm. We didn't bring that
On
up.
his
Yeah, I
legs
forgot
and
about
his
those.
arms.
Good call. TJ, what do you got?
I want to talk a little about your past, if I could, and like how you got started, things like that.
All right. Let's do this.
One thing that I'm a huge fan of is your online personality, your Instagram, your Twitter.
cool.
I always look forward to your daily posts on Instagram and Twitter. You do like pen sketches. My personal favorite is Aladdin 2099, where you did where you did the genie, and it was like so detailed, but it was like simplistic, and the whole picture is just Aladdin at the bottom. I loved that.
Cool, thank you.
You do like point of view sketches, you on the plane, things like that, which are all great. And one other thing you do is the scribble game with your son, where he draws a scribble on a piece of paper, and you just create something awesome out of it, a monster or whatever it may be. My question is, like, how did that start with you and him?
Which part? The scribble game?
The scribble game.
Oh,
yeah.
My mom used to do that for me in church.
Really?
Sweet.
I have a hard time sitting still, so she's like, "Here, just make something out of this scribble."
No way.
That's awesome.
She said it nicer. She's a very nice lady. She would never do that. She would just be like,
is
"Here,
there
just do the scribble?"
Is there a church Bible that we can go to and try and find like Ryan Otley's
It's like, well,
sketches
the
in
old
it?
sketches in
It was on
Bibles.
actual paper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to disappoint.
No, that's so cool, and I love when you do those. I love looking like I can tell what it's going.
Trying
like,
to
what
find
it
the
is.
scribble
I love
in it?
looking at the no. I love looking at the scribble first and being like, is that going to be a bird? And then I'll because I zoom in first without trying to look at your finished product.
Yeah, that's
and then
good.
I look over and like, yeah, it was a bird, or like, oh,
There you go.
it's great. I think that's the coolest thing.
Does your
It's definitely
son
a fun game.
does he share in your passion for drawing?
He did. Now he's just so sports, man. He just
Really?
loves the
That's
sports.
cool.
Yeah.
What kind
It
of
is cool.
sports?
I mean, I've actually never really been into sports, but he wants to watch it. He wants to play it all the time, and so yeah,
Judging by your arm motion, is it football?
it was basketball.
Oh, okay.
He loves that too. He loves football and basketball. He used to like baseball, not so much anymore. He was in little league and stuff, but we signed him up for junior jazz, so he's gonna be doing some basketball pretty soon here.
That's awesome.
But it's fun now. Now I watch it, and I used to hate on sports so hard.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
I'm a huge football fan. Like it's stupid.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah, I love
It's
football.
getting fun now. Yeah. It's all it
weird.
took is having a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because like my son's 5, and I want him to love the same things that I love, and he's there. You know what I mean? But I feel like you have to kind of let him do his own thing. Like
You
I would
definitely
always
have to,
assume
yeah.
like little Ryan would be drawn like
He was drawing a lot, but now he's not super into it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And you can't.
It's fine.
You
can't
gotta
push him.
Yeah.
I
You
remember
gotta,
you posting certain things of him like on an iPad doing like an app or something, and he was trying to
yeah.
learn how to draw.
That's right. Yeah. The digital stuff on my Wacom
Yeah.
Cintiq. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, we know exactly what that is. The Wacom Cintiq. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? You don't know
No,
what Wacom?
no,
Come on,
no.
guys.
What is that? Is that something we should know about, or
Awesome.
is that like what?
Is it
Is that like
specifically for
digital
drawing?
sketchboard or?
Yeah. It's you draw right on it. And that's how I do my digital layouts.
Okay.
I'll just draw right on the screen of a Cintiq. So
Oh, cool.
there's pretty much most artists have it now. It's pretty helpful.
It's the hip thing.
What time?
It's the
Everyone's
cool
doing
thing
it.
to do in
Everyone's
comics.
doing it.
Yes. Everyone's doing it. Yeah.
So when you were younger, what comics were you reading that inspired your love for drawing?
Like I didn't get into comic books until 15. So before that, it was all about Mad Magazine, Garfield,
Okay.
Far Side. Just newspaper, Sunday strip, that kind of stuff. So I was really into that. And so, but the main stuff I would draw all the time was just ugly faces and monsters, and that's pretty much it.
Right. When did you actually like break into the industry? When was your like? I know you did Ted Noodleman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was around. Well, see, I was working in this warehouse for like 6 years, And after I got fired from that, I just started doing all these small little stories here and there. Or, like there was a forum that I was on called Digital Webbing Presents.
Right.
No, Digital Webbing, but the book was called Digital Webbing Presents.
Okay.
And so they did it was anthology. They did a bunch of short stories. So I would just hook up with a bunch of guys, and they would write short stories for me, and I would go to town. It was fun.
That's awesome.
And it was nice because I totally recommend doing it this way if you're an artist, because to say, yeah, I'll do 3 or 4 issues for you, it's just too much. You know,
Right.
for an artist, it's working for the back end, which they're probably not going to give any money for. I mean, these short stories is definitely the way to go
Right.
for a portfolio. So,
So your new sketchbook just came out.
Violence and Pigtails.
Yes, Violence and Pigtails. I was honored to have my commission sketch put in there. I got side profile of Joker, which thank you for that. Out of you go to a lot of cons, and you draw Invincible, obviously. Out of Invincible or just in general at cons, who's your favorite sketch to draw, or favorite person to draw? Whether it's Invincible or just in general.
Do you say at conventions or outside of?
Or who's just your favorite character
To draw.
to draw? Yeah.
You mean that like people ask me to draw?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's different. Like cons, like sketches.
Whether it be someone in Invincible or someone out of Invincible.
I'm always happy when people ask for Conquest, stuff like that.
Right.
That's always fun.
Battle Beast.
Battle Beast is fun, but he's more work. So
Is he tough?
yeah, because he just takes a little bit longer
Yeah.
than most of the other sketches.
Braids
so.
and everything.
Yeah. Especially when people say, I want to thrag wearing Battle Beast, and it's like, oh, that's more work. So that's going to be double for you, buddy. So,
I would have paid double
it's two
for
faces.
Battle Beast wearing thrag.
I know, right?
That's so cool.
Bro,
That's
I mean,
that's got to happen.
It is pretty cool.
I can dip into the savings account. Like, I'll send your son to college. You know what I mean?
Kind of coming off that a little bit, if you don't mind, TJ. Like, I thought of this earlier. Does the difficulty of drawing certain characters like that, like say for example Battle Beast, did that make you not like Battle Beast as much, or like does your feelings towards certain characters, depend on how difficult they are to draw at all? Like
No, he was
dinosaurs, it's
fun.
like, oh, it's a pain in the ass to draw, and it's like, oh, we got more issues with dinosaurs. Like, do you ever get that kind of feeling from the difficulty of drawing?
No, it's kind of better on the page. It's definitely different at a con versus at home. Where I have more time to put on the page, and so if I
Makes
want
sense.
if I want like a really cool looking lion face, I'll Google some cool lion faces and try to match the feeling of it.
Okay, no, that makes
but
sense.
at a con, I don't usually Google lions. I just have to like wing it and be like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
looks like Wolfman. What am I doing?
That was my other commission that I wanted.
Wolfman.
Wolfman versus Battle Beast. Yeah. You like Wolfman versus Wolfman?
Yeah, that'd be bad.
How do I make these look different?
I'd have to look up ref maybe.
Yeah, so in talking about that, like another thing is there are certain artists you can look at their art and you know who it is without a signature, without anybody telling you who it is. Like when I look at Jim Lee's art, I know that's Jim Lee without looking at anything. When I look at your art, I know it's yours. Just your style. You sometimes draw chins a little broader. Just their posture is different. I just know it's you. My question is how did you kind of like realize your own style? How did you come up with your own kind of thing?
I don't know.
It just kind of happens.
I heard Neil Adams say one time that style is just the mistakes that you make, and I believe that's partly true. If I'm not like, I don't have like perfect knowledge of anatomy and that kind of thing, so it's just I just come up with my own kind of version of what I've learned,
Right.
and just put the pieces together, and then after doing it for so much, it just kind of I just solidify my knowledge of my own knowledge. And it's weird to try to explain, but. Yeah, so then it's just me.
Yeah.
Right.
So mistakes and all, So,
Definitely.
Do you think? I mean, it sounds like it's more of an evolution than anything. Like, and it's
For
a
sure.
slow burn. You know what I mean? So, do you think like
Very
your style is just going to continuously change depending on what you're doing, or?
probably it's probably gonna keep changing. Hopefully for the better. That's my goal. But yeah.
I think we can all agree upon that. Like,
Hope so.
not saying that
Fingers
early
crossed.
Ryan Ottley stuff is bad,
It was pretty
But,
bad,
I
but
mean,
That's a great thing
God,
about
It was pretty terrible.
That's a great
Damn.
thing about how long you've been on Invincible is you can see your art
Progression.
Progression is amazing. Like
I just
seeing
pulled
how
out
much-
because I brought issue 8 for you to sign, which was your first issue on
Yeah, yeah.
Invincible, and we were just going through it, and like it was awesome, but it was all very like compared to where you're at now, it's just so much more detailed, and it's
That's
just
what it is. It's like it looked like you were saying, like your base figures were still there. It's just like you've added more complexity on top of it. Like it's awesome.
muscles,
Thank you, yeah.
cleavage,
More muscle.
butt cheeks. Like that's one of our.
Yeah.
we
our
talk
main
about
topics.
we talk about how you draw butts quite often.
And Eve, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Do it really?
oh, bro.
Must be subconscious.
There was an
butt
alien.
drawing.
There was an alien that had 2 asses.
Tara's
You're talking
teacher.
It was a
Tara's
blue. It
teacher.
looked like she
But
had
that
2
wasn't
asses.
him. That was
Corey.
Corey.
That was Corey.
Oh,
See,
okay.
we do
Oh,
like
that's
Corey.
Yeah. We like Corey for his double butt drawings. So
Quadruple butt. All right, so I'm going to delve in here next, and it's kind of off of, what we talked about earlier with the end is nigh, and I'm sure at a con with a bunch of other artists, like everyone's eager to know, like what is next for you if you know what I mean. I'm sure like this is essentially like your 2-week resignation from Invincible. You know what I mean? So
there's
like,
still-
can you say maybe what's on the horizon for you? Are you like what's next?
I don't really want to say too much yet. I have some ideas. I have some, of direction of where I want to go, but yeah, I don't want to.
Are you being poached?
poached? No,
Yeah.
no. Poached as in like stolen away from.
No.
this book?
I used the word poached too literally, and you
Oh,
caught
yeah.
it. You're right. I was wrong for the word poached. But
approached?
approached maybe like are
I have had offers. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right, awesome. I'm so excited. Like my stomach just dropped thinking like I'm gonna buy because I said during the announcement episode that we did that if I'm done reading month-to-month comics once Invincible is done because I have nothing to.
That's the
like,
only one,
really-
huh?
Yeah, that's. I mean, really, because it's all there. It's all one-stop shop. It's not like other DC Batman where I have to read Justice League and all this other stuff to like get the main story.
And that's kind of what Invincible was about, and what Kirkman,
Yeah.
I think, started out to make it. I mean, he wanted to make it that kind of thing where you didn't have to need to read all of those tie-ins, and he makes fun of those tropes all the time. You know what I mean? Like, here, we're rebooting the universe, or now here's another character in his costume. Like, he's making fun of that stuff.
Yeah.
But
knowing that
he did try it once though, right?
oh yeah,
Invincible Universe.
oh yeah, and
tried it,
Guarding the
and then
Globe, and Brit, and Wolfman.
Well, Guardian of the Globe turned into Invincible
Yeah,
Universe.
yeah. But there's always, yeah. You did try
Yeah.
doing things, which I appreciate. And those
Brit
are, those are
actually
fun.
came first. That was
yeah. It did.
That's
Brit,
an old one,
no,
man.
Brit came
Brit
first
came-
in
Brit
2
came out-
issues, and then
Tony Moore drew Brit.
Yeah, it
and
was like
then
6
the-
months
the-
after the first issue.
right, and then
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It
yeah,
was- it
and
was
then
a
it
little
came
after,
out in the
right,
like 4 years later in 2006. It actually
Oh yeah, then it
was
came
an
out
ongoing
as an
series.
ongoing for a little bit.
Which issues did you guys start reading Invincible?
When we jumped onto it,
I started 41. They started
40s.
like 48.
Okay.
yeah.
Guess which issue I started on?
Oh,
3.
was 7 your first or 8?
8.
8 was your
was your
first. Did you read 7
Like, what's this
beforehand?
even
No,
about?
I saw it on the shelf and I had the same reaction that many people do, and that's I don't want an indie superhero book. A bunch of superheroes, I don't need more.
That's great.
And there's a lot of people that tell me that at cons, the same thing that I freaking did.
Yeah.
And then, but once they read it, once they got to
Yeah.
that third trade paperback,
Yeah.
or just read to the end of the first hardcover, then
Yep.
they're just like, okay.
And that's- I mean-
they think they know what it is, but they have no idea.
Right.
Yeah,
they
that's
don't.
what everybody says. It's like the best kept secret in superhero comics. Like
Yeah.
people don't, they always have this thing in their mind like it's nothing, but it ends up being bigger to them.
And we're gonna wrap up pretty soon. You've been up, I'm sure, for hours and hours and hours. But off of that, so Grizzly Shark,
Yes.
I fucking loved Grizzly Shark. It was
Yes.
it was hilarious, like from start to finish. The one scene where the shark flaps the sand in Sea Bear's
fight scene,
face,
man.
dude. Oh my god, I lost it. But anyway, so do you have any other plans to like actually take that to the next level and maybe write, something that's more than 3 issues? It's more of just kind of like a, short-term thing.
I don't know if I'd say plans, but definitely I have ideas and I want to do them at some point for sure. Yeah, probably won't be as insane as that. I mean, a lot of that was written when I was just fatigued like after like 20 hours of doing 24-hour comic day because the first 2 issues were done during that.
That's nuts.
It's crazy that you wind down from drawing by drawing. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Or by writing.
Writing,
yeah.
true.
But yeah, so like that first one, I mean, I didn't finish the whole issue in 24-hour period, but for 24-hour comic day, you get together.
Basically
and
The concept of it
Death
all.
Grub.
Like that.
You did Death Grub in 24 hours.
Death Grub's the only successful one I've done 24-hour comic day maybe 6 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, I'm done. I'm not doing that anymore.
That's too many.
But Death Grub's the only successful one I did. And really, it's not even successful because it was, I don't think I only did 21 pages.
Oh, that's
just
right.
ended it
That's
there,
right. You even said in the forward.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Now this is kind of similar to like the evolution of your style, and Grizzly Shark, you can still tell it's a Ryan Ottley book. You know what I mean? Like it still has similarities with Invincible. Do you or are you going to find it difficult? Like how do you not make it look just like Invincible? Like how do you do that? Like I feel like I would only be able to draw the same stick figure or the same dinosaur the same way. Like and you'd have to change it. You know what I mean? Otherwise you're going to draw a dinosaur. It's going to look like Dinosaurus. You know what I mean? Or you're going to draw another lion guy and it's going to look like like how do you change the style like for the context? Is that difficult for you or
For Grizzly Shark, you mean?
specifically?
It's
Yeah, you
much
can use
easier doing Grizzly Shark for sure because I was drawing way fast. I mean, that book was done much faster, and I really don't put much thought into it. I'm just flying, and it's very freeing and extremely fun. That whole 3-issue series was just a blast.
Yeah, I
To
could tell.
write it, to draw it, everything. Was
It
just-
seemed like it was fun for you to do. Like you were just
Yeah.
kind of like you're like
And
I
it's
just
like-
got to get this. I just got to dance. Just screw guys, and you know what I mean. Like just
Exactly.
get it out of your system, and it was awesome. Like we all thoroughly enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, and it totally felt like a B movie. Just like totally like off the walls, just fun. Awesome.
Speaking of movies, one thing that that the three of us we're nerds like all the way through. It's not just comics. We're huge movie buffs. We love movies. And one question that we had for you was, what's your favorite movie of all time?
I hate favorite questions.
This is the third one we've asked him
What's
too.
what's the
Tell them our
first thing that comes
favorites.
to mind? You don't have to be committed to
One
it.
of my favorite movies.
Like what's a movie recently that you saw that you loved?
Go to.
Yeah, or to go to.
Yeah, what's a go to?
Well, what were you gonna say?
Punch Drunk Love is one of my.
Oh,
one of my
okay.
absolute
Adam
favorites.
Sandler.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
Big Lebowski's really good.
Yes.
Yeah, what's up? A new movie? We just saw Don't Breathe.
Oh, did you? I really wanted to see that. It got
Holy
really
shit,
good
I
reviews
loved it,
too.
man. It was
And
so
his voice
great.
sounds terrifying. I feel like he should play like Freddy Krueger.
He was awesome. He would be a good Viltrumite. Let's get him a
Yeah,
Conquest
dude.
or something. dude.
Yes.
He would. He had like some scarring in Avatar and stuff like that. It's the same guy, right? The same dude from Avatar. Yeah.
Also, what comics now would you recommend to other people? Are you reading
like
other
Bill was
comics?
saying, and we actually got feedback to the podcast when the end was announced for Invincible, and them saying, like, I've seen it online too, people saying that they might be done with their weekly comics or monthly comics now. Like,
Wow.
I mean, we still look forward to going. I mean, and we're gonna explore more. And I think part of the podcast is we're gonna look at and talk about other things soon. Like, are there things out there that you'd recommend? Like, what are you reading or what are you
Go
missing?
get some Saga. I love that
Saga.
book. Man, I have a hard time remembering it. I have a huge read pile. I read stuff, but
You're just so busy, it's hard to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? I just read Fantasy Sports. Have you seen that from Sam Bosma?
No,
Oh, it's so fun.
I haven't
So
seen it.
fun. And I like manga books like One Punch Man.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen the cartoon, but I
Lake of Fire just came out.
yeah,
That looks
I need to read
awesome.
that.
I have my copy. I haven't read it yet though, but there's cool things coming out, especially by Image.
you know a book I really miss? Orcstain.
Orcstain.
From James Stokoe. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah?
He is so friggin' imaginative. I love that
Okay,
stuff.
cool.
You
Well,
just gotta read some more Image books. What you guys do?
I know.
What else is there but Invincible? Nothing else matters.
Some good stuff. Some really good stuff. You know, the first con I ever went to was Philadelphia Comic Con,
Oh yeah,
and I was like,
that's in like 2 weeks.
Went to or
that
like
was
just
the first con I ever went to, and the next con I was drawing Invincible.
No way.
Oh,
It was
cool.
from San Diego.
That's one thing
it's
I was
like-
gonna ask about. Like, how did Robert find you? Like,
Penciljack.com. So
Really?
there was two things I was on: digital webbing and then Penciljack. And he found me on Penciljack, and we said, "Hey, do you want to do a book together called Presidents of the United States of America?" And I said, and he told me the concept. I'm like, "No." I don't want to do that.
Don't worry.
This didn't sound very cool. So, but all he did at the time that I read was Tech Jacket.
Yeah.
And I thought
Yes,
Tech
Tech Jacket was
Jacket
very awesome.
I was into
Very
it.
cool.
But I wasn't into that idea. So anyway,
So you can actually tell people you turned down Robert Kirkman.
yeah. But then later on, he said, "Hey, do you want to do a fill-in? issue 8 for."
No shit, a fill-in?
Yeah, it was just a fill-in issue.
But
I
by
did
the
it-
time you actually did
I
it, you
penciled
were
in,
on,
did
though,
like
right?
2 weeks, and he talked to Corey and was like, "Should we just get this guy on
Yeah.
full time?" And so,
I was gonna say because in the letters column of issue 8, it talks about how you're it now. You're gonna be on it. So
it says that in issue 8.
it says,
I know
well,
in the comment,
we know Kirkman said,
Letters column.
we know, our Invincible pals. He said, we know that you guys were worried about Corey saying goodbye, but this is Ottley, and he just kind of introducing you to it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, that was what, a couple months since you drew that issue to when it came out.
Yeah, that's right.
So that it was
That's
probably
right.
that amount of time. By then they knew that.
That's true. There was a lot of. Yeah, I don't think. I finished 9 and then 10 and then finally 8 came out. Something like
Yeah,
that.
that's what I mean. So awesome. Did either of you guys have anything else?
I could talk for hours,
Well, yeah.
but I mean,
He can't.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think we can either. But Ryan, thank you so.
Yeah.
like
very
honestly,
much.
I'll say this too, that we met Ryan Ottley at here in Fan Expo, and it was a hassle to find a place to sit down and be where we are, and they had to follow us like a mile. We walked, trying
trusted us. And
to
we
get
could've-
back to our car,
we
and he
could've
like,
drove him into an
and he
alley.
was like, "Oh man, we're good." Him and his cousin that's with him now too, and they were just like playing Pokemon Go the entire time, and just being awesome, and we appreciate that. It
Yeah,
says a lot
we really do.
about you to go through all that and then still sit here and talk with us through a full episode. That's awesome. So we thank you very much
Thank
for
you
that.
very much. Thanks for having the only Invincible podcast. It's
Right?
been good.
I know.
I've listened
Yeah.
to it while I draw, so
That's so
I
cool.
appreciate
That's the biggest compliment we could ever get, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have one more question.
Go ahead, Bill.
When you saw that Battle Beast died, were you upset?
well, he told me on the phone it was going to happen.
And you were upset, weren't you?
No, I was just like, awesome. That's going to be fun to draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's
All right. Well, I guess we'll end the podcast here. Remember, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. I wish we could have taken questions, for Ryan, but we weren't positive whether or not we'd get to record. But thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook. And that's it. We're
Ryan,
done.
you want to make any plugs since you're on here?
Go buy his
go read some more Image comics, guys. Come on.
yeah, we'll do that. Ryan Ottley store.
Ryan Otley's store at Big Cartel, I think is. I don't know exactly, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
you
search
can find
Ryan Otley.
links,
It
links
pops
on my.
up.
Lots of original sketches
On my
on there,
social
some
media.
pages on there. He's got his new sketchbook
Yeah,
out.
Violence and Pigtails is
So
awesome.
many
The
things.
quality of the book is great. It's such a
Thank you
nice
very
book.
much.
So, all right, we're gonna head out, guys. Thanks for listening, and we're done. Bye.
Bye.
Things.
I'll wake up tomorrow and be like, did I do a fucking podcast?
What
Did I say anything?
What the fuck?